with a saying, and that goes, the enemy of great is good, because it is hard to leave behind good to reach great. So this workshop is about the empowerment of your mind, and because we are potters, I can actually move forward quite quickly. We already use our minds to create work with clay. So we take a piece of clay and we know what we're going to make out of it. We know, we imagine the picture, we have a picture in our mind, and then there is a process to follow. Now, similarly with the mind, you can do the same with life. So the thing is that most of us are not aware that our mind is the most amazing, powerful, creative tool there is on the planet. In fact, if you look around you, everything around you has first been in somebody's mind, and then it took form. So we forget about this. We have spirit and energy flowing into us and through us, and our mind is like a projector. The light flows through, and the slides we put in front of the light is the reality that we see and experience around us. So what kind of slides are we putting? What does our life look like? How does our reality look like? What about the life we're living is there that we would like to change or have different? Now, we are here to learn how to use our minds and to direct the energy that is flowing to and through us towards a better life, our dream, the thing that we really want for ourselves. And for that, we need to have a purpose. When we are small, when we are little, we have a huge imagination. And I don't know how many of you grew up with the story of Aladdin and the 49 Thieves. When it was read to you before the age of 7, you may have, when the moment came that Aladdin was rubbing the lamp and he suddenly had this genie show up in front of him, he was given the option to make 3 wishes. And as kids, we would have imagined so many things that we would have wanted to have. And our imagination was really, very much alive. And we created our reality around our imagination. However, when you go to school, the imagination slowly gets replaced with information about how things work, how things are, the world around you. This is how it works, and this is what you have to learn to make your life happen in this world. And so when you're about 12 or 13, you find that children's book, maybe your mom's going to give it away to the neighbors, and you turn the page to the page of Aladdin rubbing the lamps. You see the picture of the genie and you say, well, this is not true. This is, for little children. We don't have any wishes. This is not how life works. And with that, you effectively cut off your own ability to create your life using your imagination. And you move into what most people do, is to create their lives using the information that we are given, the information that our 5 senses are constantly putting into our minds. So I would like to take you back, and I wonder if you have done the assignment that I had asked you to do. How many of you have done the work? Please give me a little raise of hands. Do you have a vision and a dream, an idea, a purpose that seems impossible for you to reach, but that you have been holding in your heart for so long? You see, thank you, Nalini. You can put that in the chat. Yes, and you gave me a hand raise. Sonia, are you still with us? Okay. Okay, great, lovely. So I wanted to start you thinking about this because when we are little, the the ability to wish gets trained out of us. You know, we are told you should be grateful for what you have. Don't you see the children next door have much less than you, or the children outside, those poor kids? Money doesn't grow on trees, or oh, I'm too busy, or do something else, or stop being so demanding and so greedy. And slowly, our capacity to dream and to ask for something is trained out of us. And then life happens, and yes, sometimes in life we've made a wish and we've received what we asked for, but very often you're also disappointed. Very often it doesn't happen, and as you grow older, these disappointments pile up. So I would like you to give yourself the opportunity to connect to that child in you again, and that wish, that desire that you have rattling around in your heart that's been there for a long time. Understand that it is that spirit that flows to and through you, that wants to express itself through you, that creates these desires. Yes. And of course, we are taught there's a whole lot of programming that has happened around making wishes, around desires, around asking for something. I would like you to put that aside for a moment and to imagine that you do have a genie, and this genie is actually your own self. We exist on 4 levels. We are spiritual beings. We have a mind, a conscious mind. We have an emotional subconscious mind, and we have a body. The spiritual being is who we truly are, and it is actually larger than the body. It has been photographed as an energy field, and it permeates every cell of our being. The mind and the subconscious mind are also present in every cell of your body. Now, we are only trained to pay attention to our most limited selves, which is the physical body. What we can do or not do, what is possible. We are not taught about who we truly are. And that really puts us in a position where we depend on circumstances, where things around us dictate how we feel, how we act, how we behave, and we often feel frustrated and not happy because of this. So I would just like to bring into your awareness who you really are, and it's so close to you. You have experienced this so often in your life. When you see a beautiful sunset, you're happy for no reason. You often feel unconditional love for no reason. You feel well-being for no reason from outside. It just wells up inside of you. The other way you know is whenever you see something in the world that is not right. When you watch a TV show and you see people being harsh with each other, you wish, something in your heart wishes that they were kind. When you see an injustice, immediately you have this inside of you coming up, wishing for the opposite. So this is very close to us, but we have been completely trained away from it. And during this workshop, I would like to give you the tools that you can use to reconnect to who you really are, direct that incredible energy towards, it doesn't matter what it is, a purpose, a dream, something physical that you want to have, whether it is abundance or health or love or a relationship or a complete change of life, so that where you're doing something completely different, or you're doing the same thing but with so much more fulfillment and success. So let's have a look at the chart. I have a chart behind me. I've made quite a few drawings for you, and I'm hoping that you can follow me now when I'm going to get up and get to the chart. There you go. So this is what the mind looks like. So it says, mind the door to your mind. Most of our people, most of our minds look like this. I'm going to just take the camera a bit closer so you can get a bit of a close-up. Let's see, where is it pointing? Do you see it? You have doubt, or maybe I'll do it the other way around. Maybe I'll bring the paper closer to the camera. All right, just give me a second. I just want to check in on Wprkshop because she really wanted to be on this workshop and she has not been able to log in. It's a pity. Yes, please, Nalini, because my phone is on recording. What I want to say is that a lot of the things I'm telling you are not new to you. And this wisdom actually has come out of India. It's from the Upanishads. It's out of some of the most ancient writings. And there's a line that says, energy follows thought. That is already, people have known this for thousands of years. Energy follows thought. That means wherever you direct your thought, you direct energy. Wherever you put your attention, you make more of that. You give it energy. This knowledge was held by a small group of people. It was held by the rishis, and even the kings didn't know this. You know, they would go and ask for advice. And also later on in the West, some of the most successful people in the world have held this information that we are now sharing with you, as you know, and it has made them successful in whatever area of life they've chosen to be. So energy follows thought is what all of this is based on. Now, I think you heard, okay. All right. So then I will get back to the chart. So I've made this little drawing to illustrate how our minds are occupied all the time, because things are coming in from the windows, from the doors. There is news, there is old news, there is stuff people have left there, old ideas, relatives, beliefs, what people think about us, you know, all sorts of things, trauma, when you were a little child. It's just all this stuff is in our minds, and it is not a calm, and it is not a place where new ideas can come in. And it is you know, what happens is that when you have an accident and suddenly something terrible happens and you find yourself in hospital with your leg up in a cast, or like in my case with my wrist up in a cast, you have the time, or when COVID happens, you suddenly have the time to, you know, you're put back into yourself and you say, oh, I've got all these things that are not serving me, and you're able to clear out quite a bit of this. But if you don't understand how the mind works, you get back into life and things just come straight back in, and you're back at square one. this also happens with the reading of books and scriptures and things. I studied Sri writings as a student, and I'm very, very well read in his philosophy and also in the writings of the mother. And I would find that while I'm reading it, I feel uplifted, but then when I close the book and put it away, half an hour later, somebody hits me in the road or something happens, and I'm back in. Yes? Yes. Yes. Oh, shit. How do I do that? Okay, wait. Yes. Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait for her. So how many of you have experienced this where something, quite terrible has happened, where you were put back and you reflect on your life, and then you think, oh, there's all this stuff in my mind, there's all this, I have all these beliefs, I don't really need them. I don't need to have a job from 9 to 5. I don't need, maybe COVID did that for so many people. I don't need to live for a basic salary. I don't need to run around and try and make ends meet. There's more to life than that. So when so somebody, Plato, the philosopher, the famous Greek writer, said, if you want to get rid of an old belief, don't fight it. Don't use your energy to push against the old. Create something new and put your energy into that, and it will render the old obsolete. So this is what I would like you to do. I would like you to take some of these new ideas that I'm presenting today and to consider your old beliefs. Of course, the old beliefs are hardwired into our nervous system. We call them our paradigm. And they are not easy to shift, because as soon as you try to shift them, as I will show you, they kick and scream and fight and do everything they can to keep you where you are, right? All right, I'm going to try and invite. I'm just going to send Rachna a new invite. Let's see. Can someone ask Rachna to please check her email? Yes? Okay. You are muted, by the way. Does anyone have a question so far? All right. Oh, that's good. That's good. She was the first one to say yes. I'm a bit upset that she can't make it through. Yes, yes. No, it doesn't. You can do it by living a life where you are keeping your mind in order and you become more aware. For example, meditation. If you meditate for about 15-20 minutes every morning and every evening. Hello, Rachna. You're here. Oh, that's so lovely. Can you unmute yourself, please? Hello. Hi, Rachna. My gosh, welcome. So a few technicalities, even though I'm paying for Zoom and I've got an updated version. I'm fine. How are you? Can you hear me, Rachna? Can you give me a thumbs up if you hear me? Wonderful. Rachna, you have frozen. Okay, wonderful. Great. Wonderful. So, Rachna, I'm going to do a quick recap, which is about the workshop. We are holding a workshop in which I'm going to share with you the tools that I have learned in a program that I have done for the last 6 months. It is called Thinking into Results. This program has been designed by Bob Proctor, who I discovered while I was building my last dragon sculpture. And when I heard him, it was as if someone put their hand on my shoulder and said, it's time. It's time for you to do more than make beautiful ceramic work. It's time for you to not hide in your studio. You know, come out, step out and become more of who you really are. And I've had this wish and this dream inside of me for years that I wanted to connect to people. I am a natural teacher and I really want to uplift people. And when I heard him speak on YouTube and explain how no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, no matter whether you have all these PhDs or not, everybody can follow a simple step-by-step method to achieve their dream, to make whatever their wish is a real thing in life. And I was smiling because I recognized that I had been doing that, and that as potters, we do it with clay. We all have a clear idea when we take the piece of clay, or even when you decide to see what comes out of a natural process, even that is a decision that we make. And we stop working on our piece when we feel that it has reached a match to the picture that we had in our minds. So I will just quickly, Rachna, can you see me clearly? You can? Okay, good. So I'm just going to quickly show you a drawing that I made to illustrate what most people's minds look like, right? Most of us, our mind looks like this. It's like a house and it has doors and windows and people are coming in from all over, the news, the relatives, the ideas, what is happening in the neighborhood, what is happening, people have left things there, it's messy, you have trauma from childhood, you have relatives, you have all sorts of stuff. And most of all, settled in the corners, in the upper corners, you have doubt and fear. And when we are not aware of what we are meant to be doing with our minds, we don't know how to filter things out. We don't know how to bring order into our mind. And when you don't have order in your mind, you are a victim of circumstances and outward conditions, even conditions of your body. So we will go more into how the mind relates to the body, but at the moment, I just want to tell you that I have told the others, we live on 4 levels. Rachna, you are a very spiritual person, I know. This might not be new to you, but for me, even though I have lived in spiritual communities all my life, this really brought understanding and knowledge that is very specific to, it's like a handbook to everything we know. How to do this, how to do the step-by-step process, how to live an empowered and vibrant and a life where you move more and more into who you really are. We exist on 4 levels. We are spiritual beings. We have a conscious mind. We have an emotion, that's the intellect. We have an emotional subconscious mind, and we have a body. But we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are trained from childhood to only pay attention to the most limited part of ourselves. And during our education, we are also trained away from the imagination we have as kids, and the imagination is replaced by information. Information about how things work, how the world is, what kind of job then you have to have, how hard it is to make money, how this, how that. These things are put into our minds at an early age, and they form our programming. And once that has been established, once you cross the age of 7, that becomes the glass through which you see everything, and you will never be able to tell someone they are not right to believe what they believe, because the universe is such, it is like clay. When you make an imprint on the clay, the imprint is there. It's visible. When you put something into the universe, it will give you the proof that it is there. So you will always be proven right. The question is, does that make you happy? Does that make you free? Does that allow you to be who you are? Does it allow you to live a vibrant life full of well-being, abundance, and anything else you wish to express yourself through, with, in, right? So I think we've now come up to date to where we were. So we have old beliefs, but we can replace these beliefs with new beliefs. Old beliefs are patterns, and patterns are imprinted into our subconscious mind when we are young, and our beliefs, our self-image, all of that happened then. It may have happened through something somebody repeatedly told you. It may have been something, an event that you experienced that you then keep experiencing. Whatever it is, it forms the way we see the world. Now, I hope that you have given a little bit of thought to what you want, what your goal is, what your heart's desire is. There are 3 types of goals we can set for ourselves. Most of us set A-type and B-type goals. A-type goals are goals that you know how to achieve. I'm going to brush my teeth, and then I'm going to make a cup of tea, and then I'm going to go and visit my friend. These are goals, that you give your energy and your time to. We give energy and time anyways. We give them most of the time to A-type goals and B-type goals. B-type goals are goals where you know the steps to do it. So for example, if you plan a trip, you know that you need to buy a ticket, you know that you need to take the airplane, and then eventually you've booked a hotel. It's a little bit further on in time, but this does not require you to stretch or to change or to delve into your own potential. This just happens. So most of us go through our lives with these goals because we have been trained away from asking for more, from yes, from having a desire. We have been told about desires, especially like when I've worked now with people in Oroville. Um, if I have a desire, then it brings bad karma. Um, Desires are not good. And when you dig a little deeper, you find that these beliefs come out of a whole row of disappointments, desires that haven't happened, or out of a childhood in which your parents told you, don't be greedy, don't ask for more, you should be grateful for what you have. Don't you see how hard we're working to get what we have, etc., etc. Now, the C-type goal is what I've asked you to open your mind to. And this is based on a fantasy. You have no idea how, but you do know what it is and you really know why you want it. When you know why you want it, I want this because it will make me feel good. It's who I really want to be. It feels right, and I want to be able to give to people. I want to be able to be healthy, live in a healthy body. So we know why and we know what, but we don't know the how. And this is a C-type goal. Now, I would almost go to say that we've all set C-type goals in our lives at some point. Most of us do it when we're quite young. We say, oh, I want to, be a potter, for example. Or you see a teapot and you say, wouldn't it be nice to make a teapot? And then you go like, okay, how do I do this? Oh, well, I have to become a potter. So before you start your process, you're not a potter, but you do grow step by step into becoming the person who can make the teapot. This works with this. You have your dream, you have your goal, you have your wish, and you say, I would really like that, but I have no idea. It's not a part of my present reality, so I have no idea how to get there. However, I would like to tell you that it works the same way. Even though you're not the person today who is the potter, who has the ability to make the teapot, or who has the dream achieved, you will become that if you take the courage and step forward and get back into learning and studying, learn more about yourself, understand who you really are, and then really allow that thing that is flowing to you and through you, that spirit, that divine energy, to express itself. We are spiritual beings. Spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. We're not here on this planet to go and hide away in some cave or to sit somewhere or to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Our spiritual nature, our spiritual being wants to live with us and through us, and it wants to expand. I think we all feel that urge, and then we give it different names and we close it up. So now I have prepared some music for you. The funny thing is that it's not so funny, but I would like you to give yourselves 5 minutes. I'm going to try with a screen sharing to play a little bit of music for you. The meditation didn't work, so I don't know if this will, but I would like you to take 5 minutes and to, can you hear anything? I'm clicking and double clicking. You can't hear it. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that didn't work. So could I please ask you to take 5 minutes and just write down what it is that you really want for yourself? And then I would like you to write yourselves at home a letter. I would like you to write a letter to yourselves as if you were your own best friends. And what would your best friend say to you to encourage you to achieve that dream or that idea or that picture, right? Like, for example, the best friend would say, I'm so happy that you've decided to do this, because I can see that when you get there, when you achieve this, when you live this life, I can see that this and this and this would be so amazing for you, and how it would be great for you to do that. So we're going to start working a little bit on our attitude towards our own dream, towards who we really are, towards what we really want, and to encourage ourselves. So I'll give you 5 minutes for now to just put down on paper. And if it is a long shopping list of 10 things, don't worry, write it all down, because eventually it sort of fits behind two or three ideas, and maybe the first one then is the one that is the head of the rocket, so we can narrow it down later. Yes, Nalini, so I would like you to write down what you want, not what you don't want. No, you write it down on in a notebook, if you have one. Write down your ideal marriage, what you want, what the marriage should look like, how it should be, what should the conditions be in it. No, because Nalini has been putting it in the chat. Sorry, so I was, no, but of course, whatever, there is no limitation. It's not like you have to choose. You can say, this is what I want for my relationships. This is what I want for my body. This is what I want for my financial situation. This is what I want for my work, how I want to express myself. Whichever one has been there with you and which is really ready to start birthing. We have to start the birthing process. It has been in the closet long enough. If you believed that you had infinite potential, what goal would you set for yourself? What would you wish to have, be, or do? In some cases, have, be, and do, right? We are birthing ideas. Let it come from deep inside. It feels wonderful to take nothing and to create a vision, a picture. This is what we are able to do as creators. See, the great mind of which we are an expression has created the universe out of nothing. It has laws and it is constantly engaging, expanding. So when you connect to that part of yourself, you will find the ability to do the same. If you think you're not being realistic, this kind of thinking got us to the moon. It got the airplanes up into the sky. What do you think the Wright brothers were facing from their neighbors and their relatives when they said, we're going to put a machine up in the sky that'll carry people? Right? Everything around you has been created in somebody's mind. So why would you not use your own creative faculties? Or else we can accept an idea that comes from the outside. We can allow circumstances to dictate what we may or may not do, right? This is the role of the conscious mind. It creates a vision, it creates an idea, and those thoughts we then impress onto our subconscious mind, and we get emotionally involved with the idea. And when you get emotionally involved with the idea, then you are really starting the process of manifesting. And then emotions are vibrations that express themselves through our bodies. Our action and our behavior are controlled by our emotional subconscious mind, not by what we know in our intellect. Now you may feel that your circumstances are overpowering, that you have no way to change them, that nothing is going to happen no matter what you do. But I wonder if you've heard of this man called Viktor Frankl. He is a Viennese psychologist. He was in the Nazi concentration camp for 20 years, I think he was in there. And he lost everything. His wife, his kids were killed in front of him. And he came up and said, the last freedom that we have is the ability to see meaning in the worst circumstances, is to choose, the choice we have to see meaning in the worst circumstances. And if somebody like that can recognize this, can recognize that in his mind he still had the freedom to choose what he focused on, what he wanted to find, and he found meaning in the worst of circumstances. So in spite of the abuse he was subjected to, he was able to hold a positive idea in his mind. And nobody can make you think something that you don't want to think. We have that freedom in our minds. So we cannot say, so-and-so has done this, this is why I'm thinking like this, or so-and-so or that thing. You choose to accept that thought and then you hold it in your mind. Or with your conscious mind, you can accept or reject. That ability is the ability of our conscious mind to accept and reject. Our subconscious mind, however, cannot reject. It is completely deductive, which is why at an early age, everything you heard and everything that was told to you was taken in and held emotionally as being true. And emotions are hardwired to your nervous system, which is why you can feel quite sick when you're upset and you feel amazing when you're happy, right? Okay, so now we go to the next part. Again, I've made a chart. I don't know if you're able to see, but there are lines that go through the whole chart, different colored lines. Now, if you can imagine that these lines are frequencies, we live in a universe of frequencies. Green is a frequency. The walls are a frequency. Cement is a frequency. Every molecule has a frequency that it vibrates on. We live in a universe of vibration. This is a vibrational universe. When you break it down, break it down, break it down, theology and physics meet there. We live in a universe of vibration, and everything is frequency. Now, let's say this is your life today. You are here. These are your present results. Your results are on the same frequency band as your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Most people go through life on one frequency band. Now, we've made a goal, we've made a dream, we've made a picture, we've created a C-type goal. That is not on this frequency. That's why we're not living it yet. Otherwise, it would be a part of our lives. It is up there. It is on another frequency. Now, when you just think about it intellectually, nothing changes. This is why visualization often lets people down, because they sit and visualize. What needs to happen is that you need to get emotionally involved in the process. It needs to become emotionally gripping, powerful, meaningful. When you become emotionally involved and you actually take the decision to move towards the goal, then you hit your paradigms. This is your programming. You hit your programming. The reason we are not just able to move from here to here is the paradigm. Just for you to understand this, we will go back to this a few times. It's quite a good thing to remember. Now we have 2 questions. Sorry, this is the next chart, and it is the knowing-doing gap. All right, who all has a knowing-doing gap? Do you recognize this? We know better than we do. We've done it as kids in school. The teacher says, you know better than this. Why have you done this? And we say, oh, we don't know. You often do something, afterwards you go like, oh, I don't know why I did that. I know better. Do you feel like you have a knowing-doing gap? Yes. This is because knowing is our intellect. Doing is controlled by our emotional subconscious mind. So knowing does not equal doing. And in a spiritual kind of a community, that gap is even bigger. When you're a spiritual or a religious person, you know all these amazing things, ideals, and what you should be and how you should be doing and then your life, which is falling very much short. This creates a frustration, not only in religious or spiritual communities. People with PhDs coming off their visiting cards can't find a job, can't make life happen. Millionaires can't find a fulfilling relationship. We have a knowing-doing gap. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. We know better than we do. This causes frustration, and frustration we are all familiar with, right? But it is because of the paradigm. The paradigm is between the knowing and the doing. And this paradigm, can you read this? It's a cybernetic system. Have you heard of psycho-cybernetics? Do you know what a cybernetic system is? A cybernetic system is a system that is used to guide rockets to the moon, for example. Every time the rocket goes off track, the cybernetics get it back on track. It is used in air conditioning or heating houses. As soon as the temperature goes below or above a certain degree, the cybernetics brings it back to where it's supposed to be. Our paradigms work like that. As soon as you step out of the paradigm, as soon as you want to do something different, as soon as you say, you know what, I'm going to, and I'm sure you faced it, I'm going to do this, even though I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I'm going to start taking the first step, made the decision. The cybernetic system kicks in, and you have relatives, you have your own voice in your head telling you, oh, but you know what, this is not the time for this. Maybe we should do it later, when you have the money, when the kids grow up, when this happens, when that happens, then we'll see about it. This does not allow you to move from here to here. And it is the cybernetics. There's a great book called Psycho-Cybernetics that I will tell you who the author is. Maxwell Waltz. I've written it down for you. Anyway, this really keeps you where you are. And that is why, even though there are slight variations in your life, more or less you recognize when you look back that there is a pattern that you've been living and that it's hard to break out of. And we blame circumstances, we blame outer conditions, we blame our health, we blame this, we blame that. But it is in fact the paradigm, right? The paradigms are emotional mind and fixed ideas. This is the cybernetic system. Knowing is not enough to get results. Results come from behavior. And behavior is controlled by the subconscious mind. So we think with our conscious minds. We impress thoughts onto our subconscious mind. Whatever is impressed through repetition on the subconscious mind expresses itself into the body in the form of vibrations. And those vibrations in your body control how you act and how you behave. You can see it happen if you observe yourself. Observe yourself and notice what you're noticing and start understanding what is going on. So there are two questions about the C-type goal. One question is, am I able? Now, theology and science both confirm that human potential is infinite. Am I willing? Well, that is up to you. Are you willing to do what it takes? And the moment you make a decision to move towards what you want, that is when you're saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Turn your goal over to the universal subconscious mind, and the first universal law of perpetual transmutation starts to work. When you start getting emotionally involved, you are already starting the process of bringing an idea into reality. There are different frequencies, different vibrational frequencies, and the first one is the idea. The first one is the spiritual being that seeks to express itself, and if we take that and we create our ideas with that, and then we get emotionally involved, and then we can bring it into the body, and then our body, we do and we behave in the way that draws from the universe through the law of attraction, which you've all heard of, the conditions that give you what you need to proceed, right? You may not have anything here right now that will take you to your goal, but I tell you, I've experienced it and we've all lived it before. When you decide, I'm going to do this, you suddenly meet the right person, something comes here, something, the money for it shows up. It's amazing how it works. But we just think, oh, that was lucky, or oh, that may have happened once, but it's not really going to happen again. Paradigms are formed by a multitude of habits. Some are good and produce wanted results. It is the habits that form the negative aspects in the paradigm that require changing and replacing. This is the knowing-doing cycle. We have paradigms, and we can replace old ideas with new ideas. I'm going a little faster because we're a little behind on time, and I do want you to be able to ask questions. Since there are 4 of you, I would like to offer you a bonus session at the end of the workshop. I would like to offer you a one-on-one for each one of you to actually find out and discover your paradigms, your own very personal patterns that are controlling your life, your actions, and your behavior. And when you see them, you see that they have both a positive and a negative, because in this world that we live in, there are polar opposites. And I can show you and take you to the point, you will be doing the work, of course, where you see what the positive aspects are of your paradigms, and you can actually focus on those and make those work for you in your life, and the negative aspects will fall away. Yes, if you're willing to do this one-on-one session, it takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Get in touch with me after the workshop. I've done it with 24 people from different nationalities, and they have all come to the point of recognition, which is very, very, very rewarding. So I just want to show you here, this, I was telling you, we live in a universe of frequencies. The fastest moving frequency is the finest, the highest frequencies when our spiritual being, in who we are, in this individualized expression of spirit. So there's the general spirit, the general divine that is present in everything, and the human consciousness is like an individualized part of that. And this individualized spirit in us, our spiritual being, who we really are, is living our lives with us and is interested in growing its individuality and its uniqueness through our experiences. So nothing that you have lived or that who you are or the direction of your life is bad or a waste. You just need to align with it, and alignment you can do when you know where you're heading, when you give yourself a goal, where you give yourself a dream, a picture. It's called the law of specificity. The universe is very specific in its creation, and the more specific you can be in describing what you want, give it numbers, give it shape, the easier the manifestation will be. This is the fast frequency. This is the spiritual. Then the slower frequency is the frequency of thought. Then an even slower frequency is the one of emotions, and then the slowest frequency is matter. Now, everything that is faster than the speed of light, we don't see. Every frequency that moves faster than this frequency of light, we don't see. But there are radio waves all around us. You can tune into a station, right? You've never thought about this, have you? What am I tuning into? There are frequency waves and currents, and the internet works the same way. How come we can have an endless number of telephone numbers, endless number of connection points? Because frequencies are infinite. On the other side of the frequency of light, there is infinite frequencies. Our thoughts are very powerful frequencies, and when you think a thought, it goes into space. I've done a video called the 17-second rule. It is on my Facebook group, and I'd like to invite you to join it. But the 17-second rule says that we put our thoughts out, we think, and you think, oh, I've had this thought. It's not private. It goes into the universe, and it joins flows of similar energy. So if it's a negative thought, there are huge flows that we don't see, just like the radio waves of negative energy, negative thoughts, and our thoughts join those, which is why you can be in a perfectly fine space in the morning. You are just doing your thing in the house, and you have a little small negative thought, sounds like your own voice in your head going, oh man, you know, I wish the lady who cleans the house would do a better job. She's so, and before you know it, 17 seconds you've thought that thought for, it pulls the next negative thought along. And you suddenly look up and see the news and you go, oh, that is happening again. And the next thought. And there is a momentum. It's like dipping your foot into that flow of negative energy. It pulls you in, and you can be in a bad space for the rest of the day. Sometimes these flows can take you through months. If you're not careful, if you don't understand what is happening, you can get into a depression like that. So the way to do it is to stop, to catch yourself. And if you can catch yourself before 17 seconds are over, before the second thought comes along, and 17 seconds is enough time. I tell you, I've counted and I've done it so many times now. It's a long time in the world of thoughts. Count down from 17, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the time you get to 1, that thought has lost its grip on you. And then when you're there, you go like, okay, now what do I do? You know, because it's easy to go back. Now you look around and you find something to feel grateful for. And we all have many, many, many things in our lives that we can be grateful for. Starting with the air that we breathe for free. We breathe this amazing, life-giving air. Find something to be grateful for and move out of range of that flow of negativity, because there is also a flow of positive energy. They're not as predominant because the whole human race is constantly creating negative energy and negative thought, and then we're surprised why things happen to us. Energy follows thought. A whole nation can believe that something bad is going to happen, and when you have that assumption is a very, very, very powerful creative tool, then it will happen. And then everyone goes like, oh my God, this is terrible, what's happening to us? I would never create a negative thing for myself. But you do, because we are unconscious creators. We need to turn our creative mind into a direction where we want it to be, and you can't do that as long as it is occupied by everything that is coming on from the outside. Okay, let's go. Oh, that was it. That was it. So I want to bring you back to this chart, and I want to tell you something. Because our mind is so amazing, right? These are our thoughts. We just now used our imagination to create the C-type goal. Now we can take a shortcut with our minds. We can use our imagination and directly put ourselves into the feeling of achieving, having achieved this. We can close our eyes, and in 2 seconds we can be the person that we dreamt we would like to be, and we can create a little story for ourselves with that imagination. We can say, this is how it is, and this is how I feel, and this is how it would be to have this and to be there and to do this. Allow yourself to use your imagination to just cut through this paradigm business. You can immediately go there. Of course, here your programming is going to kick in and say, but you are just acting childish and it's not true, and this thing will fight you. And this is why you need a mentor, because when you're on your own, this sounds very much like your own voice. This is everything you believe to be true and right and how things work. But this is based on things other people have given you before you had any ability to discern. This is what events that happened to you at a certain age made you decide about yourself and the world. These are not true. So I really do invite you and encourage you to do this session with me. I normally charge a lot of money for doing it, but since there are 4 of you and I think you're very important ladies, I would like to offer this to you. So let me know, write me a little note, and now I'm going to take some questions for the last 15 minutes. How has it been so far? Rachna, hello. Nalini, well, it is on your, it is on, yes, it is difficult to do it on your own, definitely, but over the next 2 days, I'm going to give you some tools that should really help you. The thing is that our paradigms are so ingrained in our nervous system, into our bodies, into, it is really hardwired, and our mind is hardwired to our 5 senses. So there is a lot of wiring that makes the electricity flow in a certain way. And if you want to change that wiring, if you want to make new wiring, so you know what happens when we have a thought in our heads, we can now see that there is a neurological pathway that lights up. One line gets lighted up. You can see that when you, through one of those, when you do your scan thing, they have those instruments where they can really see your brain. Every time you have a thought, it lights up one specific pathway. The more often you think that same thought, the stronger that pathway gets cleared and lighted and connected. When you want to start thinking a new thought, you need to, it's like cutting through a forest for the first time. You have to create a new pathway. Now, I would like you all to clasp your hands like this for me, please. Can you tell me which thumb is on top? You can unmute yourselves. Yes. The right one. Do it again without thinking. Again, the right one. Yes. Now consciously do the opposite thumb. Right. How does it feel? Odd, right? Does this feel odd? Right. Is it wrong? Is it wrong? No. The same thing with our neurological pathways in our brain. You want to change a habit. This is an old habit. It feels right. It feels good. It feels right. Even if it feels bad, it still feels right. Okay? The other thing doesn't feel right. So you immediately go like, oh, but this is odd. The work is to make this feel just as right as that. And this is where changing habits comes into the process. This is why this program that I'm doing has taken me 6 months to do. It changes habits. It changes your paradigms. It shifts your paradigms from where it is today to the new ones that you want. So yes, Nalini, it takes time, and I'm not pretending to give you a magic pill that you will swallow in 3 hours and your life will be transformed. What I'm giving you is, I'm sharing these tools with you because when I saw them for the first time, they really triggered something in me that was more than hope. I understood that faith with understanding, based on understanding, is the key to freedom. And how do you get understanding? Not by hearing something one time. Now if you close your hands, it will again come to the right. Just because you did the left one time doesn't mean it comes back to the left. Habits die hard. They are hardwired into us, but they are not, we are not slaves of our habits. we are free to create new habits. And this is what these tools, when I heard, you know, the YouTube channel I heard Bob speaking on, I encourage you to find him. The Proctor Gallagher Institute gives free what do you call them, seminars with workbooks every so often in the year. And as a counselor, I can forward these to people who are interested, but you can also find them on YouTube. They're for free. You get a workbook and you start working on your understanding. I did 2 of those before I really understood that actually this is scientifically based. This is not a woo-woo. This is not a blah blah. This is real. You know, Einstein and Emerson, who created the electricity, he took the same. Electricity has always been around us. He didn't invent it. He just figured out how to guide it and how to pull it together and make it work for us. So the same thing is for anything that you want to do. It's existing there. Your other self, the person you want to grow into, is already inside of you. And these tools are tools that help you to become that, to achieve that. You know, they say most people tiptoe through life to make it safely to death. Do you want to tiptoe through your life to make it safely to death? It's not like we're not going to die if you're tiptoeing. You can either tiptoe or you can express yourself. You can be this flare in the world. You can give so much more when you live a bigger, when you become more of who you are. You can give more. You know, I don't think we are on this planet just to pay our bills. I'm sorry, and we're not here to make a few pots and then to keep them in our studio because only 3 or 4 sell out of 10. I'm going to show you how you're going to sell 10 out of 10 pots. That I'm going to give you in this workshop that you just practice and you can do. That's not a big deal. And every habit that you change is a move out of your paradigm. So for me, the first habit I changed was to get up at 5 in the morning to study. I study now every day for at least 5 or 6 hours. I'm working on understanding myself better, creating this new paradigm and becoming more of who I really want to be. And being here with you and giving you this and sharing this with you is a part of this. It's very, very much that. And I would love to share it with all my Potters community. So I'm starting a Facebook group where I'm inviting you all and a few more who showed interest before I told them what it cost. And then I'm going to invite you to invite 5 more people, and I will share content on that Facebook page for you. But I really encourage you to study and to understand yourselves better and to, you know, there is so much to learn and there is such an incredible life to live and there is so much potential that you have inside of you that you have no idea of. You can heal yourself. You can bring blessings to other people just by being more of who you are. And your finances, you can definitely, that's, you know, that's like a byproduct of that. And if you've written down, I want $1 million or I want, you know, whatever, however much money, that is absolutely fine. Because when you go deeper into why you want it, once your own needs are covered, once you are able to look after what you want, you will see that that actually enables you to create something bigger, maybe a center for women who need help to, or who, you know, to teach them this kind of material to empower everybody to create their own lives. We have been separated from our own creative aspect, energy. So every morning when I get up, I tell myself, I'm a spiritual being. I am a spiritual being. I have a mind, I have an emotional subconscious mind, and I have a body. And by the nature of who I am, the nature of this spiritual being is unconditional love, unconditional well-being, unconditional joy. In my DNA, my spiritual DNA is perfect. It is all-knowing. I just have to connect to it and I will get all the answers I need from right inside of here. And it is omnipresent. As soon as you move above the frequency of light, there is no time and space, which is why things happen like coincidences and things that you can't explain. And you're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. Well, yeah. We've all experienced this. So, any questions? Yes. Yes. Seconds. Yes. I've done it 10 times. Yes. Yes. It is, but it is more practical because when you're driving your car, you don't want to you want to pay attention to the traffic, but you realize there is a negative thought that is forming because that person just cut me off or whatever. You just count. But it's this, yes, all these things are on the similar principle. But in Vipassana, you come to the experience of your mind being in your body and how it is linked. And through this thing that I have learned and that I'm trying to share with you is it's a handbook to how you can do this without sitting down, and how you use it to, because often in Vipassana it's also amazing Vipassana because it doesn't exclude anything, does it? So people who do it, they come out of it and they have the best business ideas and they have the best ideas for everything. Suddenly the mind is clear, you see. All that junk that I showed you in that house, suddenly it's in order for a while. And that meditation is definitely one of the ways, Nalini, is like mornings and evenings before bed and when you wake up. If you can sit for just 15 minutes and listen to the fan or listen to the AC or listen to some sound and just yes, but just sit down. Doesn't matter. You sit for 15 minutes. Decide. You have to decide. You're the master of that mind, Nalini. That mind is your house. And the same way you clean your house, we are going to help you to find the tools to sort your mind. But it takes effort. No? You can't sit down in the messy house and say, okay, house, now I want you to be clean. Nothing moves. You have to go around with a duster and you have to throw things out that have no meaning to be there. Yes, I please take this as a 5-day challenge, and just at night before going to sleep, before you lie down, just sit in your chair and just maybe light a candle, look at the candle or listen to the sounds outside. You live in a forest, you have many sounds, just listen to the sound. Pay attention to what sounds there are, okay? Yes, so the seek type goal is let's not think about the C-type goal as frequencies. Let's think about it as this beautiful dream that you have, this picture, the thing that you want. And it really has to be a want, because if you want it, then you are going to be willing to undergo the path. You see, our paradigms don't like us to do things we have not done before, and you will feel uncomfortable when you do things you haven't done before. But if you want something that you haven't had before, then you need to do things that you haven't done before, because both of these things mean that you are moving out of your present strata of frequencies to reach where your goal is. And it's an adventure. It's doing something you haven't done before, Nalini. It has nothing to do with your past. It comes out of your past in an orderly sequence of growth. But your goal is you see, your goal is not something outside of you. It has come from your heart. It is an expression of something that is not yet birthed, that wants to come out, that wants to be lived by you, that wants to be experienced by you, that wants to bring joy and fulfillment and well-being into your life. If that is not part of your life yet, well, if you can imagine it and give it a form and be specific, you are creating the C-type goal with your mind. It is not on your frequency. Yes. Yes, I can. Yes, Rachna. Yes. Yes. It is like we all knew about, like if you have never made a teapot and you have never done any pottery, and you go on to YouTube and you see how to make a teapot, and you read a book about how to make a teapot, and then you sit with the clay, it's a different story. It's a different story. So the doing is a process, right? When you sit with the clay, well, if the clay is too hard, you can't do it. If the clay is too soft, you can't do it. If you don't know how to throw, what to do when you put it on the wheel, well, floop, it goes right off the wheel. It takes time to learn centering. It takes time to learn throwing. But if you persevere, at the end of it, you have your teapot. Don't we, ladies? Haven't we got there? We have, right? And this is why I want to speak to you about this, because you use the same ideas for creating your life. Yes, you have a goal, you have an aim. And then what? Then you read about it, then you hear people talk about it, then you visualize it, you imagine it, but you don't take a hold of the clay. You don't start on the path of manifestation. And taking a hold of the clay and learning about it is getting emotionally involved. That's where your emotions come in, because without emotions, there is no vibration in your body. And without vibration in your body, there is no action that can be taken. But we are always vibrating, and mostly it's not with very good emotions. It's not with great thoughts. It's with thoughts that are, today I heard somebody say, we kneel before circumstances, and we put a crown on the head of circumstances, and we worship circumstances as if that was the only thing that rules our life. Circumstances. We kneel before circumstances. I can't do this because of this circumstance and that condition and that circumstance. Not realizing that these circumstances are created by a long line and by a momentum of thought, emotion, and action on your part. Momentum. Something you may not remember that you had this thought for you may not remember that repeatedly. So it's not one thought that will give you a result. It's when you get emotionally invested that then it expresses itself through your behavior and through your actions, that then creates the result you're living. Because the universe gives you more of what you're planting, and if you're planting this, it'll give you this. In the universe is like clay. If you make an imprint of a flower, you will have a flower. You make an imprint of something else, you'll have something else. If you keep making negative imprints, well, that's what you're going to get. We have to become conscious creators. You have to keep reminding yourself, okay, so I know that I have, without this energy flowing to and through me, I wouldn't be standing up. It is beating my heart. It is moving my body to work. It is in every cell of my body. It is making the molecules bond together to create cells. It is this spirit energy is moving to and through me constantly. What am I doing with it? Where is my focus? And if you want to know what you're doing with it, all you have to do is look at your life. That's what you're doing with it. You're putting attention to things that you don't want. You're putting, maybe some of the things are working well, you're putting attention to that is getting more. And you have it's a direct feedback system. And if you don't sell your pots, it is because you're putting out this thing right from when the moment you're making them that I might not sell all of them, or it might not be nice, good enough, or so, and people might not like this. You start right from that moment to create. And then when you are there in the show or in your market and it's not sold, you go like, see, I knew it would happen like that. Ha! And you prove yourself right again. I can tell you, you can prove yourself right with the opposite. Millions of people are doing it. Millions of people have learned from Bob Proctor and from the people he has trained all over the world, all over the world. Children are doing it. They have their report card from school. They have a copy by their bed with all A's, all top marks. Every morning they look at it. Every night they look at it. They just look at it. What do they get? They get the same. We have to really learn how to use this amazing creative tool, our mind. And we have higher faculties of the mind that I will talk to you about tomorrow that we can use to our benefit and to our advantage. And we are not taught this in school. We're not taught this in school. Okay? I'm going to end here. I'm really thanking you for yes, Nalini, show us your face. Yes, you're hiding. You know, you're doing what I have done for 30 years, Nalini. For 30 years, I have hidden in my pottery. I have been isolating myself. I have made beautiful work, but I haven't spoken to hardly anybody. I haven't met anybody. I have never been on social media. No, because it's dark, my dear. You turned on your video. Nalini, you manifested your beautiful house, my dear. Look at the house you manifested for yourself. Now we're going to take it forward from there. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.